The ability to rewatch a film is a key to a long-lasting movie, at least in my eyes. The feeling that you know what's going to happen, yet you're still excited to watch, is a stat that filmmakers don't consider when making films. Ignoring what people might dislike about Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the film seems to have flexed this muscle in this category the most. The movie is a sophisticated joke that everyone seems to get and never gets old. Yet there's a moment where I let it run, going to the bathroom, cooking, brushing my teeth, you name it. That moment is about 1 hour, 38 minutes, and 40 seconds into the film, where the target says,
"I'm not the target, you are."
Let me explain. After a married couple hiding their double lives find out their partner is also a spy, they decide instead of killing each other, they should work on their marriage.
Don't! Come on!
They then turn their sights on a solution to keep their companies from killing them. Benjamin, played by Adam Brody, is the mark, the key. Both companies want maybe more than them, so they go after him. Yet, it was a plan from the beginning for both agents to take themselves out while going after this new target. That hilariously almost happened.
You still alive, baby?
The problem is, no one cares about Benjamin. Yes, it's a twist, but not the twist we wanted. The story we cared about was when John Smith, played by Brad Pitt, and Jane Smith, played by Angelina Jolie, didn't quite know they both existed in the same world. The realization of the truth, a dance between the actions and the words, as they do what they do best, but just to each other. The characters realized what the audience did. They both would inevitably have to kill each other, but the story gets better before it gets worse. The question then turns from will they find out to will they be able to pull the trigger? Both questions have something in common. It's about them. It's about their relationship. See, the movie starts with a friction-filled therapy session that would work even if they weren't spies, and should be the thread that leads the way through the whole film. But the third question the writer Simon Kinberg introduced had nothing to do with the relationship, because by this point, we can see that their relationship was fixed, at least patched enough to end the conflict. The third question, or third act, will they escape with their heads? Which is a valid question, just not the one we cared about most. Suddenly, the little banter between them, even though still mildly entertaining, wasn't based on a problem they couldn't solve. It wasn't based on anything. It was just there. So in my opinion, the third question is flat out wrong, and for all of its film's ability to entertain, it wasn't enough to do anything. It's not enough to sustain anyone's disbelief. The friction of the relationship is what pulled me in. The fact that they were well-dressed killing machines who pretended to be normal for the sake of the other person was exciting. It didn't matter the company they worked for, so much so they didn't even bother to name them. Throughout the movie, we honestly don't know who John works for. And we only get a code name with a muffled voice for Jane Smith's boss, and a slight reflection. Of course, this adds to the whole spy thing, but it makes who they are fighting against in the third act unrelatable to the audience. In other words, I don't care. No one cared. There's another Brad Pitt film, similar to this one, with a different tone, Allied 2016. For all this movie's faults, the question we wanted sustained in this movie is held here. Is she on your side, or is she a traitor? And looking at both scores for these films, even though Mr. and Mrs. Smith is the most rewatchable out of both, Allied is arguably better. But this comparison is for another video I will never make. Hopefully they fix this in the remake, but seeing what Hollywood decides to do with everything, it will only get worse. So now that we know the problem, what is the solution? I don't think anything could clear the skies on the third act, because the setup would have to change, some scenes would have to be added. It's a nightmare for most screenwriters, but I have an idea. Instead of using characters we don't care about as a diversion, why not use characters we already know and love? Replacing him with Eddie, played by Vince Vaughn, or Jasmine, played by Kerry Washington. The portrayal of a close friend would not only play to the movie's themes of complicated relationships, but also make a better third question. How well do you really know someone?
They blew up my house. They shot at my wife. My own company.
What about you?
Me?
Where you at?
Where am I at?